You're good to go.
Good morning, everybody. All right, welcome to our September 7th meeting for Transportation, Public Facilities, Public Works. The minutes were emailed out, well, attendance wise, so. Supervisor Pucciano, Matt Yarrow, Leonard Quinn, Ray Smith, and Seth Goldstein. Got the minutes that were emailed to everyone, so I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes for both the highway, water and sewer and the public works. So
July and August.
I got July here in the last one she sent. I don't see August in yesterday's email. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, thank you. Thank you, Matt. There it is, July and August, there it is, there's another PDF attached. So yes, this would be for the July and the August meeting.
It's separate.
Want to do them as separate? Okay. So let's do the July meeting first. Motion for approval of those minutes. Motion, need a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
You can sit with us.
Opposed? That's right here. Okay. Now I need a motion for the August 3rd minute meetings.
I'll move.
So move to second,
A
please.
second.
Second, all those in
Done.
favor? Aye.
Good to see you.
Any opposed? No opposed to the August minutes. All right, thank you. All right, now we can start transportation, public facilities. Mr. Smith.
Alrighty. Go ahead.
Sorry, oh, I'm sorry, I'm Roy Thornton is here.
No.
Oh,
Mr.
Yeah.
Lamar.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, Ray.
Okay, so highway crews, the normal. Working on trees, resident request, patching of roads, basins, repairs and small drainage projects. This is just ongoing off of residents' request into the highway. Daily business, anything from trees losing limbs to potholes around and small stuff like that. Personnel wise, we currently have down to one vacancy. We've been interviewing, should have a name for the end of the month for the town board meeting, and then hopefully we'll be fully staffed. Grounds worker, yep. Parks crews, been mowing all the parks, and town-owned facilities, they should be wrapping up the front decks out front here, hopefully within a week. And then there'll be some small, just grading and seeding after that, but the majority of the project should be done towards the end of this week, if not, Monday or Tuesday, by midweek next week, with all the pavers and everything, so,
Great. It's going.
yeah.
Pick up mowing parks and stuff. Can you just explain to some people that might watch this remotely on how some of that gets scheduled, sent you that text over the weekend from the deputy supervisor about some of that.
Yeah, so we essentially, we go out, we mow every park once a week. Weather dependent, sometimes we have to go early, sometimes we have to go late. We have our priorities are our large green spaces, parks, athletic fields, stuff like that. So we try to do all the large parks at the beginning of our week usually. And this has to do with the groups lining fields, us lining rec fields, so it has to be mowed and dry before we can go out and line, so always a priority. But rain does alter our schedule a little bit, so, a day or two earlier, a crew or a group may notice a difference in the grass. I did go up and check after it was mowed that week, but it was just probably a quarter to a half inch higher than they're used to. So I did look at it.
We do the best that we can.
We do, we run. And then our second priorities are our boulevards and our smaller triangular spaces that we have all over town. There's dozens of them. You know, you got these little dedicated green spaces from all the contractors. Every time they build a subdivision, we get a small green area. May not be a park, and there are a lot of them. And then comes your cul-de-sacs and green space along the edge of the right of ways and the roads. So we do many of them. And then comes our holding ponds, and then comes our bike paths. So
Thank you.
there's a lot of it. So it's a struggle to keep the grass down. We do our best.
Especially when it's something like this, one, a lot of rain, grass goes back very fast.
It does. So we do our best to accommodate everybody. So, and I know they do a lot as well to the upkeeps of the field. So we appreciate their willingness to do that as well. Number 5, yard waste. Trucks are still on a schedule, picking up the days in the zones that are for the week. This week is altered because we had Monday off, so we're a day behind. We do encourage people, when you have your yard waste, put it out to the curb, because we do start at 6:30. So whether it's your day or not, put it out and the trucks will keep circulating. I've attached in my agenda a flyer that will be posted on the website along with the Gazette and the Niskuna Journal. The Gazette on September 30th, the Journal on the 29th of September. And this explains for the loose brush pickup and also loose leaf pickup that will unfortunately be approaching us sooner than we want to admit. But
That's the first time it will be posted. Will it be in the Gazette again after that?
not normal.
No.
Normally it'd be one time in the Gazette, one time in the Journal, and always posted on our website, both the general and the highway one. So these dates are for that stuff. And we changed a little bit because there was a discrepancy last year. You know, we had just pick up until December 1st. So we changed a little bit that it's December 1st or first heavy snowfall. So, you know, once the snow comes and the debris are out there, we need to put the trucks away, and they need their work on them because they run every single day of the summer. So,
You do your best, I know, to get it up, even if you get a little snow, you guys go.
We do.
Try to get it up. You don't want it on the road either.
the guys definitely give that extra effort. It's miserable, just like it's miserable in this 90-degree weather, but it has to be done, and they get out there and do it. So this is just a kind of a heads up for everybody of when we'll be around. Okay, very good. Thank you. Town board resolution, tentative hiring of grounds maintenance worker, which I spoke of in the personnel part. Paving, the 3rd round of roads, along with the Avon Crest improvements. The guys have been over there the last couple of weeks, prepping the park for the improvements as part of the SAM grant. So we're paving in that area, and we're gonna loop the Avon Crest project in with the next round of paving. We're hoping sometime this month is what we're pushing for. Disc golf, low and mow. We have mowed it. It's not perfect. We had some complaints. We struggle with that. The characteristics, and I think it was talked about when we first started this program, our challenges would be the grass is thicker, the grass is heavier. I mean, this year was a challenge as it was because it's wet. the landfill cap is very steep. It's a clay topping, so it's very slippery when it is wet. Challenge them out. So we've done our best there. I know we've gotten great reviews from the low mo people. They like it. One of the challenges with a low mo, and this was a pilot program, and for us to see is a lot of invasive species. They've identified them. Hey, we got this stuff thrown up. Well, when you don't maintain something, that's what you get. So we're doing our best to combat that. We're learning. Roy has brought some really good information to us and has supported us through this. And we've walked up there in the landfill with him, and he's pointed out a lot of things. So a couple down here is we're going to talk about a different style mower. So we'll get down to that. Sweeper is still circulating the town. He was in zone 3 as of last week, making his second time around. Obviously when we have a year like this with a lot of rains, a lot of debris come off the trees, a lot of granulars from lawns and just dirt on the road. So very warranted, and we're continuing to do that. Number 10 is the purchase of a mower for addressing the landfill cap and in the different ways that we mow it. So it's similar to the one that we have. The one that we have is PTO driven off the tractor and then converts over to belt drive. It's more of a finish mower for large areas. It's 16 feet wide. It's a tri-pole mower. The one we have has belts, and traditionally, since we went to this different style mowing, we can go anywhere from an hour before we blow a belt to 2 hours, and $300 a pop for belts. And there's 3 different belts on this machine. So in a matter of a half a day, we're $800 in and didn't complete our task. So this different style mower is it is a tripod. It's the same width as the one we currently have, but it is all PTO driven. And underneath the mower deck that we currently have is more of a finish. It's just a huge modified lawnmower. It's made for cutting green space, such as like a park or whatever. This mower is more of a bush hog style mower, and we think it will help us maintain that a little bit better. The reason we're bringing it now is it was an item that I had put into my 2024 list for purchases, but the timing of this is we would like to get it now so that we can mow this landfill cap before the frost comes in and get it back down where it needs to be. So this is on state contract. I'm going to let Beth speak to this. I've had many discussions with Beth about this purchase.
So one of the things we had thought, because we hadn't budgeted for it in this year's budget, and Wright was planning on putting it in his budget for next year. But the timing obviously wouldn't work very well for purchasing that now. One of the options I recommended is if he were able to get board approval to purchase it right now using fund balance, then we'll put it in the budget for next year and replenish the fund balance out of the budget as soon as the year turns over, so that it is properly budgeted for in the following year. But that way he could purchase it a little bit early. So we don't typically do things that way. But just given the time and the difficulties we've had, we have been blowing through belts on that other mower. It's very expensive right now to be doing it that way. And I thought this might be a nice way of kind of getting ahead of the damage we're doing to that mower, and allowing him the opportunity to purchase it a little bit earlier than the budget, but then putting that money right back into fund balance, because we don't like replenishing that too much. So that was kind of my thought in terms of, otherwise we'd have to, put the money in the budget and we wouldn't be able to purchase it for use until after the new year when we start into the next year's budget.
So what this is gonna allow us to do is to be able to mow the landfill before the year's end this year. So that we have a fresh in the spring. If we wait till the budget process and all that, we're gonna be into January. Before we even get to purchase. And then we're not gonna be able to mow until spring. We're gonna deal with water, wet. And then actually a whole nother season of growth. Which is gonna slow us down even more as far as mowing and getting rid of, we wanna mow this stuff down now. So that we can get a head start on the invasive species and you know, we're starting to get. Some smaller trees growing up and we can't have that by the standards of. The closure, so it's a delicate balance to maintain it. At a minimum, but still keep it within the requirements that we're mandated to do.
So this is still a triple deck, right? You said
Triple deck, yeah,
this is, what type of,
it's a wedge,
okay.
that's the wrong one you're looking at,
This is
one
not the
H and M. Yeah. It's on contract,
places, yes.
if we had to, you could use it, you know, in a big area.
Tractor, PTO take off, see some of the state or even the county.
We do, we have a boom mower. But it's only 5 feet wide, but it enables us to reach out into the right of way and trim that, but
Not a tow behind.
not a tow behind.
See them. You know, that sort of thing.
And the one that we currently had, you'll see a trade-in price in there. I'm not gonna take the trade-in because I feel we're doing very good on the, we brought in a lot of money this year in our auctions. And I don't feel as if that price reflects what that mower will bring.
4,500.
Right,
So you're gonna sell it out.
I'm gonna sell it outright. And I think we'll do better than the trade-in value. And that mower is on state contract and he does actually have one in stock, so.
On the other side, this is. You had looked at some other kind of remote mower.
That's the next one on the list.
It's next on the list.
Yes, it is. So. Any more questions on the landfill one?
So your boom mower, does that go off of a tractor?
Its own tractor, it's built onto the tractor.
It's built onto the tractor.
Yeah.
So that's not a type of spring where you get a tow behind PTO.
We already have a tractor for this mower that is strictly dedicated to the landfill and, you know, mowing that area. So
Mhm.
we're good with the tractor. We're good with, we just essentially need to get a different style mower. It's almost identical to look at it, but it's a gear driven instead of a, you know, gearbox instead of belts. So the next one is purchase of a mower for detention basins. So again, we did a demo. This is what, it's a remote control mower. It's an all-terrain mower that is made to do very steep slopes. And it's a track, it has tracks on it, so it's able to go through water and marshy areas. So that, we actually had a demo. I had Matt come down as well and we watched this mower. We were really impressed with this mower. So in them thoughts, I've been talking to Beth. This would be used for our drainage detention basins, which we're getting more and more of them. So what we would like to do is, we looked at like manpower now to go out and mow and maintain these ponds is a crew of 5 guys with weed whackers and walk behind bush hogs. That's very dangerous. They're wearing hip boots in there because of the water and all that. So we would like to set up a program where, we can train 1 or 2 so that the machine stays in the hands of capable people, we feel. And that would actually cut our crew down to 1 operator of the machine, along with like 1 guy weed whacking the perimeter where the machine can't go. And the long-term effects will be that we can get a better maintenance program going for our detention ponds. This would remove the Phragmites and all the large growth we get in the detention ponds, which essentially collects siltation when it comes out of the pipe and deteriorates and takes the longevity out of our holding ponds. So then we can get on a regular schedule and set up with minimum staff, being able to maintain these ponds at a higher level than we currently maintain them, which in the long run gives us more longevity for our drainage districts that we're made to maintain. I mean, a detention basin is designed with very steep slopes, to hold capacities of water. They're all fenced in to keep people from going in them. So there's a lot of challenges in trying to keep them maintained and, visually a decent. A lot of them are in neighborhoods, so the local residents, when they start to get a little shaggy looking, are on the phone, and I don't blame them. It's not something that we need to keep mowed to a park level or anything like that, but the benefit of maintaining them on a regular schedule basis is the longevity of them and keeping them working the way that they were designed to work. And I mean, I'll have Matt or Dan speak to, what in volumes of what that will save us in the long run. It'll save us from excavating ponds out and redesigning them, or at least, prolong it where we get the capacity out of these ponds that they are designed to do.
You also want to keep the woody growth down too, so by mowing it more regularly, we keep the trees from growing up in the banks, and the trees will undermine and destabilize the banks with the roots. So by keeping smaller vegetation by mowing, same way you do with the landfill cap, it's crucial as part of the long-term maintenance of the ponds. So that tracked mower was perfect for that application. They could go on steep slopes. They could go through right on the edge of the pond where it's starting to get a little muddy. Right over it without any issues.
Well, I see it where they mow, and that starts to creep out right the wet area, so they don't get that, they don't mow it, it keeps creeping out.
And it gets heavier and thicker. So I'll have Beth speak to this as well. Beth has been trying to restructure our drainage districts in a way that's more feasible for us, and I'll let her speak to that. And that's where this mower purchase would be on. So I'll let.
This is a conversation that Matt and Ray and I have been having across the course of this summer with the amount of water that we've been seeing this summer, and it's a concern going forward. Currently, the way we're structured, we have our storm sewers are in a grouping, and that's part of our general fund, and then we've got a whole lot of little drainage districts that are all kind of sprinkled through at the end of the budget. And one of the things we were looking at is taking all the drainage concerns that we have townwide and consolidating that into a consolidated storm sewer drainage district. There will be some significant benefits to this on several different levels. So one, that the really obvious one is that it would allow us to look at all the different types of drainage across the town in a holistic system. I know from talking to Matt, a lot of the storm sewers are just kind of, it's evolved over time. And as Ray was saying, as different developments have happened, then we add these little drainage districts. So it's all been done very piecemeal. And especially if we continue to see summers like this one with the amount of water that we've had come down, We really need to take a look at the entire town and all the water management that we're doing and look at it in a holistic fashion. So just having the ability to kind of pull it all together and look at it logically. And then administratively for my department to be able to administer it both financially in one grouping rather than in right now, we're up to nearly 30 different little pots that we're trying to, we have to allocate things across and it's tedious. Obviously it's manageable, but it would be very nice, I think, for the sake of all of us to be able to look at all of the water management as one infrastructure system rather than as a piecemeal collection of the way it is right now. Going forward, if we're going to continue to get this kind of rain across summers, we're really going to have to consider this our stormwater management a little bit more holistically, I think, just from what we've been seeing. So that conversation is something we've started. And I would plan to kind of get into it a little bit more in finance in terms of what that might look like. But just so that we're thinking about the big picture, I know one of the discussions we've had is possibly getting an actual engineering study to really look at how all our water is being managed, what we should be doing and thinking towards to be able to plan for the future and actually work long-term on a better management process for all this. So putting it all together would allow us to do that a little bit more efficiently, I think.
And not only the mower, that will bring into play all these drainage issues that residents have been bringing to us to give us a better idea of to more pinpoint and address these items. I mean, we've had an overwhelming amount of backyard issues we've been in this year, and from to go meet with a resident and then look up all the data and look up where is it coming from, we spend a ton of time between all of us doing investigations as to where is it coming from. But it's time consuming for all of us to do that. I mean, it is our job and we do our best for answers for our residents, but the whole thing that we're looking at is beneficial to everybody, including our residents. I mean, granted, this year was a very heavy rain and, not everybody they're being impacted. So it's hard for them to accept that as a reason. It is part of the reason, but we tend to be obligated to give them a little more than just, hey, we got a lot of rain this year. We've been out in the backyards. We've been in the woods, we've been covered a lot of ground this year trying to address these between all of us. So
We do the best that we can when projects come on to engineer there, right? We spend a lot of time, and then the developers get all mad because, they get upset because of the cost and the expense and how thorough we try to be. Because, once we approve it, now we're living with it forever, right? And, sometimes you can't engineer for 2 inches in 45 minutes, right? But as you said, we do work on it. We do work on our infrastructure. We're going to continue to try to do those things.
and there was a lot more to it when Des started talking about the structure of this and redesigning it. We could all see the benefits of this.
Well, we'll have to budget for that, right? And let's get back to your mowers. So it seems like the landfill mower, that's an immediate purchase that you want to try to make to use this piece of equipment this fall to take care of that, correct?
All right.
The track mower, what's our time frame on that? Are we gonna be budgeting for that next year? Are we bonding? Are we talking about bonding for that? That's a substantial,
So
amount of money.
That's where the dedication comes
So
in.
that's it's the remote control mower for the drainage. We could do currently, we would just allocate it across all the drainage districts. We have fund balance associated with each one of those drainage districts that we could use to make that purchase. we would like to start working on the consolidation process of all the drainage and storm sewer, and so whether we allocate it with them all currently separate, or whether we consolidate first and then use it out of that, it would look the same externally. It's just the process in terms of how we manage that in the financial side. But we do have fund balance associated with the drainage districts adequate to purchase this mower, or we can put it into the budget across all the drainage districts to purchase for the next year's. That one we have some flexibility with. But this mower kind of got us having that conversation of how do we look at all of our drainage? How do we look at our storm sewers? How do we think about this when they're very separate currently, but really the way we think about stormwater management, our whole MS4 process is more holistic than the way we're currently administering it. So how do we make the administration process match really the way we should be thinking about managing the water? And that was kind of what got us started down this little bit of a rabbit hole of how are we doing this and how might we do it a little bit more efficiently and in a way that would maybe get our minds to think of it more holistically.
So I will also say, Bill, we used to sub out about 5 holding ponds to Brightview. Some of bigger ones that were in neighborhoods that, like I was explaining, that need to be maintained. They mowed them twice a month for us. It was a significant cost. It's undesirable work to do, so they priced it accordingly. It was in the contract that we could hire subcontractors to do that, so many per year. We got to the point where they wouldn't give us a price. So they did it for 5 years, maybe two contracts, I think they did it for, and then they wouldn't give us a price anymore. So we've taken that back on with an already short staff. So we've been banking that money that we traditionally were paying an outside company and took it in-house. And I'm a big advocate for doing things in-house rather than subcontractors. I believe we have the talent, and I believe that we, can do the tasks. And I think this is a good way, and like I say, the long-term benefits when we got into this were much larger than just buying a mower to keep the grass mowed. Between all the people here, what we can accomplish in a long-term plan is awesome.
So you guys saw a demo of this mower. Have you worked with this company before?
We have.
Okay. Have you talked to anybody else that's got one of these things? This is sort of a new piece of equipment.
We
Yes.
talked to the factory rep from them, and he gave us names of they use these are so they use them around dams and stuff like that where the slopes are really big on, and I didn't actually talk to anybody who had one. I did talk to the salesman from the company that we're buying it from, and I also talked from the rep out of Iowa. He actually came down here and did the demo for us, the rep. And I mean, whatever we asked him to mow with it, he mowed. And I mean, it was pretty impressive.
It was nice for controlling the Phragmites too, an invasive species that we get into. It takes over our holding ponds. It's sort of that looks like people call it like cattails, but they're really not. It was cutting right through that.
And I mean, those were probably 5 and 6 years old. You could fall in there and not hit the ground. They literally would hold you up. He drove right through them, and I mean, mowed them down.
That's with not the most aggressive blades either.
Right.
They have one step that you could put even more aggressive blades on there for the heavier vegetation.
I think if you get some, names from them, who you can call, right? To get there, because you know yourself, right? You want to talk to the guy that's used the machine for 3 years, kind of broker that, or no, it's a good piece of equipment, but you got to be careful with, following this or that type of thing. And then are you going to be talking more about this in finance?
I would say yes. regardless of the mower, I think, looking at a consolidated, stormwater and drainage district, system makes sense going forward. I know that everybody's saying this year was like 1,000-year floods, but it seems like we're having an awful lot of these years where we're, 100 and 200-year, 1,000-year floods. They're seeming to be coming a lot more regularly lately, so might behoove us to get ahead of that.
Okay, so how are we gonna proceed at this point?
Just give us the light.
I'll
Are we taking these as separate issues? Because, again, you said we're gonna.
They are
discuss it.
separate.
They're separate, so I think we should sort of look at them separately, okay?
I like Beth's recommendation that we just get them.
not quite sure exactly myself.
So I think we do need to look at them a little bit separately. Landfill cat mower, as you said, you're basically burning out the piece of equipment that you're using for that, right?
And I can't accomplish well.
And you can't accomplish what you need, so 15,000 for that new piece of equipment seems, like something that we should do. Speaking for myself, right? The other track mower, again, I'd like you to get more information about that. And I understand how you're gonna try to pull things together for the drainage districts to fund all this, so.
And we can budget it. We can, for both of them, we'll address them in the budgeting process as well. But if he needs to do the one now, we can look at that and then how that wants to be mandatory for.
And it's my understanding, I mean, much of this mowing, it's in neighborhoods, it's in holding ponds. We get a lot of emails and a lot of calls from residents about those areas being overgrown.
Mosquito trap.
Mosquitoes, it can have a negative impact on the community and the community members. So that was, an impetus and having this conversation. The residents feel strongly about these areas and having, them being kept up, not just for the visual, but also safety. So.
And I will add, this is current pricing. We don't see anything going down. So. That's just the nature of the beast nowadays, is the prices of things are just outrageous, so.
Well,
And they're both on contracts. One's on a purchasing agent and the other is on a contract, so. And we're members of both.
no, I know you made your argument about, decreasing your labor costs for these and decreasing your, subcontracting costs using each piece of equipment.
I don't argue, Bill. Let's rephrase that. That's a recommendation. I got one more item for open discussion, which I talked to Beth about, for the leaf machine parts. We ordered $5,000 worth of, and we got about another $4,800 worth to purchase. So I would just, not to 10,000 for finance. So this is something, again, this was $7,400 last year. It's now turned into $9,800. Same parts, same, and we're taking out the middleman. We're going factory direct right out of Virginia. And just the cost of doing business is, and it was probably 6,000 4 years ago, so. That's a lot to get with the same. Now, I know we bumped it up a little bit, but what we're bumping up isn't keeping up with what we're trying to accomplish.
Open discussion,
Yep. Anything for me or?
the rec center trades. Got some emails about those, maybe.
True, yes.
So,
I've seen that. I didn't comment.
It's from about that access.
I think they also had questions about a neighboring property.
Jackson's. Question, you and I walked over there. Obviously. Property lines on. Woods. There is some concern that Jackson's may, their signs might be on town property. It's fine, we don't know if, but they've encroached on town property or not.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a wooded area.
Yeah.
You go by.
I mean, so that was one question that was emailed to us about that.
So. You know, I don't know if the boundary's off a little bit or, but I mean, there was plenty of room in there, what me and you walked for
I would
a
agree.
trail, so I don't know if it's necessarily a yes to protect the town's boundaries or whatever, to get that straightened out, but are we now gonna be the bad neighbor?
No, I think
And what's gonna happen when somebody walks out of the woods and walks down in his lawn? What are we gonna create?
Well, when we walked out with them, looked at it, we should have a conversation with Jackson's. Who, you want Ray and I to go over
No, don't
there?
volunteer me, thank you.
No volunteering.
I wasn't on that email, so I don't know.
They're,
But this is now something
they're
that,
questioning the.
are we gonna do a survey? So something as simple, something as simple as walking trails now is gonna cost us money to delineate a boundary. So is it now just a simple, we want trails through the woods and I get their concept, we walked it.
Yeah.
It would be very good and it would be a good bike path, but. You know, is there a compromise? Is there a price in which now we're involved in not only a boundary dispute, now we're gonna have to pay for a survey?
Yeah.
I think.
I don't think that's gonna be necessary.
How else do you dispute a boundary?
We're not gonna dispute the boundary. We're gonna, I think we have to. Once we, get some sort of, okay, that they can access that, property, right? Right. Yeah, then. We look at the area we want to use, make sure we leave plenty of buffer, so there is no, because you're right, as you said, we walked it, there's plenty of room there.
Plenty of room.
Plenty of room there. And then at that point, that's when we just have a nice conversation with Jackson, what's gonna be going on, so you will see some. Right? It's not,
No, I
right? Let's
I
not,
support the thing, it's just how did now it becomes something that we have to invest in
Mhm.
monetarily to try to delineate a piece of property.
Yeah. Okay.
Just my, just. Anything else you want to talk about? Any of the projects going on? Yeah.
for open discussion,
Sounds good to me.
You wanna do open discussion for water and sewer?
Okay.
So,
yeah, all right, Matt, let's start with you.
Did you want to see if there was something he wanted to address?
You here for that portion? Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Oh, do you want me to give my, little spiel here?
Sure, if you like,
Right, so, I started with the,
just introduce yourself, all right?
my name is Joseph Eder, I'm at, 2053 Lexington Parkway. So, I started with, looking at the size of the trucks that are gonna go in there. The most probable, I haven't seen a truck go in there. I think since, the beginning of the year, something like 14 trucks went in there. So, you know, Ought to go down there and see what the size is, but as far as I can see, they're 18-wheelers. They're 100,000-pound trucks. They're a tractor trailer configuration. A tank on the tractor is 9,000 gallons. Found out that because I went to Wind River Environmental's place at Acton, Massachusetts. My son lives there now. He used to live here, but now he's living in Acton. So I went over there and I got some pictures of their trucks, which I could show you, like. Right. Yeah. So we were told, the board, the town board is on record that the largest truck to go in there into Whitmire Drive to the wastewater plant is a septic truck, which is 33,000 pounds. It doesn't make sense to send a 33,000-pound truck down that road when you could send a 99,000-pound truck down that road and carry three times as much product. With the septic truck, you'd need 3 drivers, 3 trucks, 3 maintenance, 3 tanks of gas, diesel fuel, 3 everything, 3 insurance policies. So I think what you were going to end up with is these 99,000 gallon, 99-pound trucks. They're about 65 feet in length. I don't think that a 65-foot tractor trailer can safely go around that bend in the road, the 90-degree bend in the road. I think it, as far as I can tell, it requires 27 feet of a road width. The road there is 37 feet and it's a 2-way road. So 27, no, it's 34 feet wide. So 27 from 34 it gives you 7 feet. If there's another car or another truck coming in the opposite direction, trying to make that turn at the same time as the tractor trailer is trying to make it, it's not going to work. They only have 7 feet. So I think that's a dangerous that's a danger there. Also, when the truck leaves Whitmire Drive and goes on to River Road, it has to travel into both lanes. And River Road is a 45-mile-an-hour road there. That's too fast for a truck that is very, very slow to go into 2 lanes, go perpendicular to 2 lanes before it turns into the opposite lane. It turns facing oncoming traffic before it can get back into the right lane. The reason that it has to do that is because the rear of the truck does not track the front of the truck. And if the truck just makes a turn right into a proper lane, to the right lane, the back of the truck will hit whatever's there, the pole or the whatever's there, or end up in the ditch. So that's a danger. Also, trucks entering Whitmire Drive have to stop sometimes in the morning. There's moderate traffic and they come in packs. So some of the time, the truck will have to stop, come to a dead stop to Cliff so that the oncoming traffic would clear, so that they can make the left turn into Whitmire Drive. Stopping a truck, a big truck like that, on a 45-mile-an-hour road is not a good idea. I think it's dangerous. So there are 3 points of danger there. Also, in general, you're repurposing that road. It's a residential road. There are 8 families on that road. There's the wastewater treatment plant, and then there's the state park entrance. Now you want to turn it into a commercial driveway for the largest trucks around. I mean, these trucks weren't in existence when that road was designed. Obviously, they would not put a 90-degree turn in a road for these kind of trucks. So if you're repurposing this road, I think you have to redesign it. And I think you need to go to an engineer and say, give us your opinion, put your license on the line, give us your opinion that this road is safe. And this road as presently configured is a proper road for a commercial driveway. So, all right, so you have that. Another thing is, in the article, it said it was a net zero emission facility. Yes, it is, but bringing this product to Niskayuna is not necessarily net zero. It's a major pollutant. My voice here. I have some, if I can find it. All right. I have it somewhere, but I can't find it. Well, anyway. Looked at, I looked at the program, Wind River Environmental. They're in, oh yeah, that's turning radius. They're in, I think Marlborough, Massachusetts, that's the headquarters. They're a major company. They're up and down. They've acquired 90 septic companies. The closest ones are Earth Care, which is headquartered in New Jersey. They have a facility in Beacon, New York. It's about 110 miles from here. There's another one, Hardigan Wastewater Services. They're in Vermont. They're 160 miles from here. And then Wind River has a location in Monroe, Connecticut, which is 160 miles from Niskayuna. I don't know how many, something like 740 pounds of carbon dioxide that will go into the air when these trucks transport the material from those locations. That's polluting. That's just carbon dioxide. Then there's carbon monoxide. There's hydrogen, the hydrocarbons. There's nitrous oxide, and there's particulate matter that I didn't. Hey, thanks. It's not gonna help. I lose my voice. I lose my voice, but I project. So bringing this stuff, I think, is really gonna be a major pollutant. Now, of course, you're removing, carbon, you're usually removing the, CH4, methane gas. And that's, 25 to 30 times, more detrimental to the atmosphere than, carbon dioxide. I get that, but I don't know, zero emission, I don't know, I don't think that works. And the other thing, that, well, I guess I should bring this up at a finance committee, but I'll bring it up here. When the sewer, the District 6 sewer plant was built, I mentioned the town bonded. The whole town paid for that. When it was renovated in 2016 to 2018, the whole town bonded that. But when you charge a fee, when you charge this company a fee to bring this stuff in, this waste material in, that money that you collect just goes into the District 6 budget. So the entire, the bonding,
The bonding is only against the district for which it's being used. When we bond things, you can't bond across the whole town for a sewer District 6. It only goes against sewer District 6. You have to be very regulated on that, yes. So
then we can forget about that. Yes, that's it. Then we have two things that, this is all theoretical. Because I haven't seen these trucks. I've only seen the trucks sitting in Acton. But we were told that the board is on record telling us that these are, the material will be brought in with septic trucks. And, it just doesn't make sense. You really have to use quite a few trucks in the same amount of material as these 18-wheelers. And I think that the road isn't built for an 18-wheel, and that you should have an engineer look that over and tell you what's needed.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joe. All right, take that under advisement.
Do you know what the size of the trucks are? I mean, have you seen them?
They vary from anywhere from a smaller septic to the ones that we had received previously. The Pepsi trucks were the.
They're 6,000 gallon trucks. They're 18 wheels.
Yeah, between six, I think,
3,000 and 6,000.
yeah, and I think our largest delivery was just under 6,000 gallons.
Oh, there's another thing, on the seeker that you got. I mean, you're not complying with that seeker anymore. I mean, you told those people, in the CAC that, you were going to bring material in from, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 4 hours. And the material would come in 5,000 gallon batches. Well, you immediately went to 6,000 gallons. Now, these trucks, which I think you'll eventually use, are 9,000 gallons, and the time went from 4 hours to almost 8 hours. Your time now that with the contract that you wrote, the time is from 7 to 2:30. That's almost 8 hours, 7.5 hours. So, I don't know. They said that, they had no problems with what you told them, but what you're doing or what you will, I think, eventually do, doesn't have any relationship with what these people were told. And I think you need a new sinker. I'll be quiet now.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. During these items, we just have three outside user agreement requests for Aqueduct Road. I'll provide the information. I think some of these you've seen before. Okay,
I've sent to, but hasn't signed, and the other one I'm not aware of. I don't know them by address.
I think Nick Russell, the last one in yesterday, it was a late addition, so we'll get all that information to you.
Okay.
The fence agreements for 23 Bergen Place. It's a drainage easement. Was there talk of getting rid of that easement in the back?
I thought Laura said that we did get rid of it.
I know that in some areas.
So, yeah, so we'll just confirm that, yeah.
Original, I don't recall 23.
We'll make, if it's necessary, we'll have an easement agreement for that and Orchard Park Road, 2113 Orchard Park. There's a fence in the drainage easement. Have you seen this one yet, Reg?
Which one is it?
2113 Orchard Park.
I didn't see it.
All right, we'll make sure that this one gets looked at by Ray as well before we go forward with it, but I'll put it on the agenda and it would. And then there was one for 258 Taurus Road. There's an existing fence that was found in a potential easement, so we had to go out and field verify it, but if that's the case, we'll have, I think it's a side yard. I think it's a pipe, outlet pipe going down behind properties there. It was just brought to my attention last week by building department, so we'll check it. If it looks like if it's not an issue and it can stay, we'll move forward with having them enter an agreement. If not, then have to pull it out. Water and sewer maintenance. Finally got pricing for the pickup trucks. I've been asking for several months now. This is Onondaga bid piggybacking for their trucks. I just opened the best before the meeting. A utility body, 3/4 ton with a plow is now $76,000 and change. That's part of the reason why we've held off for so many years on placing some of our fleet because the prices have just gone insane.
This is a 24.
It was 24. It hasn't been built yet. It will be built next year, early. Yeah.
Their truck years don't go by first of the year.
What did was budgeted for?
We borrowed money, budgeted money. So, this truck used to be $35,000 5 years ago. We'd say, pretty much. Yeah, they've gone insane.
With plow equipment,
Yeah.
probably add like 10 grand in it. But I mean, a snow plow is $10,000 now.
I know, it's crazy. But we had wanted to buy 2 this year and then at least 2 or 3 next year. We have trucks that are more than 15 years old in our fleet, pickup trucks, which we're babying them to keep them going, but the time that they're offline and then the expensive, we're going through doing brake lines and other things that long-term maintenance on a truck, which just doesn't make any sense when they're so old. So I'd like to try to sell. I think it's been 3 years since we purchased a pickup truck for our fleet, so we can't wait any longer, but I love it, like Ray said, prices aren't getting any cheaper. So I have that, and then it was pickup truck for the wastewater plant. That truck is another, I think it's a 15-year-old truck. And that is coming in at 62,000. I was gonna budget for it for next year. And I didn't know if there's any way to, if we were to place the order today, they're saying 3 to 4 months before build. Anyway, if we put this into next year, I don't know how we do
It would be under the
Yeah.
budget.
it. Okay,
Yeah, we're to that point now where from when you order, it could be up to a year before you get your stuff. So, I mean, it's a new normal for us now.
and then even the dealer even warned that there's a pending
Price increase.
Stretch.
Right, yeah.
Sorry, the utility, was that two of those, or was it?
That we had.
That's
planned on
three, but
Three, and then, yeah, so I think if we could scrape together, this would be,
probably managed to. We'll look at that.
thank you.
Now that I've got a price, I'll take a look at that, see what we can.
We're currently two workers down in the maintenance crew, due to internal, transfers to both our water and sewer plants. So we're looking to fill those positions. I have a few applicants that look promising, and I have a few more interviews to do. I'm hopeful to have names prior to the meeting. I'm hoping for two, yep. Utility billing, the warrant needs to be approved. Needs a resolution for that. This will be for the fall residential, commercial. This is our large, billing that goes out. And, those bills will be mailed by the end of September. We need to get board approval to sign a memorandum of agreement that we have with Neptune and Ty Sales. Back several years ago, when we had issues with the meter purchases that we had made, they had a lot of warranty issues and it costing quite a bit of man hours on our part. We negotiated with them and we received, I think it was about $56,000 in credit to use towards meter purchases, which we've used. They cut pricing for, they extended the warranty on several of the models, and also cut pricing on replacement costs for that. So we want to utilize that. So we want to move forward purchasing meters and meter registers and take advantage of that 50% reduction in costs. But we would need to re-sign that resolution. So we need town board approval, along the supervisor to sign that agreement. That's a copy of that. Anyone else see it? I think it's in there, unfortunately. I can provide a copy of the agreement. Let's see, that's wastewater treatment plant. Just an update on the organic waste program. The equipment that was being repaired in the system is fully functional again, and we're utilizing the gas to heat our sludge. We are working with Milton Cat to have the startup on the biogen biogas generator to generate electricity. But right now we're using it. We want to use the gas to heat our sludge and dry our sludge, which will use a lot of the gas anyway. And then the third use would be for the generation of electricity. So that's moving forward. We have the need to purchase two screens for the belt press. So these are machine interface screens. They're not just screens, but they're touch screens, and they have a lot of programming in them. Two of the screens need to be repaired. That's a cost of probably about $12,000 for those.
The repair or purchase.
It's a, I guess it would be a repair, but it's a replacement of a part of a system. It's repairing the system by replacing a part. Basically. But that would need a resolution for that. And then C would be the maintenance contract for that generator that I mentioned, the biogas generator. Because that was offline, we didn't keep the maintenance contract up. We didn't want to pay offline. So now that it would be utilized, we want to get that back in the rotation for the scheduling of maintenance on that. So that would be tentative resolution. We had one for the emergency generator, which is good for another few years, I believe. But the overall cost of the maintenance contract will be spread over 3 years. So we would do a purchase order for the total amount, or just sign the agreement for the total amount and then do purchase orders. Each time we get a bill, that's how we're doing the other one.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
We get board
Because
approval for the,
Yeah, because we'll have to budget each year for the amount.
okay.
This is with Milton Cat.
Milton Cat, yep. So the water treatment plant, just a quick update on the upgrade project. The building modifications are complete. We've took out a couple windows and put in double doors to the exterior to increase the safety of the operation, because now that the crew and the staff working at the plant don't have to directly access the chlorine gas room, enter the building. So it's a separate entrance and exit that isolates the chlorine gas storage. And our new chlorinators, as part of the upgrade, they're up and running. And I think that a demo is occurring on the old chlorinators, that the door they're in. Transfer station, landfill, recycling center. Just an update on the fall shredding event, that the date is now confirmed on the 21st. And the hours are a little different this year. They're 9 to 12, not 9 to 1. The shredding company changed the hours, but they'll be available.
As long as we make sure we get it out. in
Yeah,
notification.
we have a new notification. We'll put it on. I think we were finding in the past, we would have a rush in the beginning.
They're lined up.
Yeah, and then people would come in and then they would all come at the end. So I think if you move the end an hour earlier, you're still gonna get that same rush. They're just gonna come an hour earlier. That's here, at the hall. That's all I have. Anything else?
Anything else?
Nothing.
All right, our next meeting is October 5th at 8 AM. To adjourn,
Move to adjourn.
second,
Second.
all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Right, we have 9:30.